Hello and welcome to Entertainment News Break, your source for what's hot this week in TV and movies.
We give you the latest in anticipated series, blockbusters, and streaming services. We confirm what you've heard about what's up and coming in the world of entertainment. We're your hosts. I'm Lindsay. Thank you for joining us.
And I'm Brandon. And in this week, in Netflix, we're going to be discussing recently added TV shows and movies and take a look at Beasts of No Nation and Winter on Fire. Within the last 2 years, Netflix has started the popular original series that the streaming service is now known for, starting with The House of Cards in 2013 and gaining popularity with the original series, Orange is the New Black. Netflix has also started to release original movies and documentaries that are slowly gaining popularity as well.
This Friday, Netflix will be releasing the original movie, Beasts of No Nation. Beasts of No Nation depicts a young African boy in West Africa that is forced to fight in the Civil War after the family is killed. The movie adaptation is based off the book of the same name. Written by Uzonimpa Uweda, the film already has earned a rating of 95% on Rotten Tomatoes and 8.2 out of 10 on Metacritic. Not only will it be released Friday on Netflix, but it will also be released in select theaters as well. Let's take a look at the trailer for Beasts of No Nation.
As you can see, Beasts of No Nation depicts the struggles of children forced into the military in Western Africa and the measures they have to take to survive in the process. Tune into Netflix this Friday and catch a glimpse of Beasts of No Nation.
The streaming service Netflix is constantly adding and removing popular television shows and movies. This month in the world of Netflix, we can be excited to see popular movies such as Curse of Chucky, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, American Pie, Coyote Ugly, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Batman Begins, The Flash Season 1, and more. Don't hesitate to tune into the streaming service and watch some of your weekly added favorites.
We can also be disappointed to say goodbye to some of our favorites such as A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dirty Dancing, Bad Grandpa, Star Trek 2 through 5, Star Trek Into Darkness, The Hunger Games Catching Fire, The Wolf of Wall Street, and the Restaurant Impossible series.
More along the lines of war movies, this past week Netflix released its original documentary, Winter on Fire, Ukraine's Fight for Freedom. Winter on Fire follows the results of the recent civil rights movement in Ukraine, in which the government suppressed the people's right to freedom of expression. Here's a peek at the trailer.
Yeah, the scenes in the Ukraine are kind of hitting apocalyptic levels over there, and it's been going on for a while now. And I'm happy Netflix, at least some media sources, actually covering stuff over there. My first exposure to it was through a picture online that was just a picture of this horrible, colorful explosion from the stuff over there, and then it cuts to American media, and it's just Justin Bieber being arrested. So.
Yeah, I think in America we definitely take more time we're one of the countries that take more time to recognize celebrities, and not a lot of things that's happening overseas. I have a world politics class right now, and that's really my only source from where that's coming from. So it's important that maybe people of all ages even see this documentary and see the struggles they're going through. I mean, there's some way that we can help, I'm sure, and I think this really sheds light to this documentary.
Yeah, we can enjoy our dramas and our comedies, but at some point, it's nice just once in a while to get a better idea of what's really going on out there in the world these days. It's pretty bad sometimes, but yeah, I was impressed just the cinematography that they had just in that trailer of just. It's easy to get good shots when you're in the middle of that situation, and props to the filmmakers that actually had to go through filming all that.
Yeah, that's definitely a scary place to be in. But I can't wait to watch this on Netflix, and it's great that it's streaming.
Yeah.
Good opportunity to see it.
So yeah, if you haven't already, check out Winter on Fire on Netflix. Up next, we have our top 10 TV ratings with our host, Tia Caps. And when we come back, we will be discussing what's up and coming in this week in television and what movies will be released this week.
Sci-fi, family dramas, horror, and comedy. This fall movie season is peppered with a strong variety of new and interesting reasons to visit your local cinema. I'm your host, Taya, for this week's Top 10 Box Office Hits. Starting off at $2.41 million, we have a thriller about trust and passion, where a successful lobbyist, played by Sienna Lawson, is forced to choose between the former love of her life, Michael Ealy, or the attractive stranger she suddenly develops feelings for, Morris Chestnut. Who should she trust and who should she fear? Find out in The Perfect Guy. Relationship tensions continue in number 9 as a family is forced to combat the inner demons they've locked behind a facade of smiles in the war room. Will the advice of the elderly and wise Miss Carla help them work things out? Starring Priscilla C. Shear, T.C. Stallings, and Karen Abercrombie, Alex Kendrick directs this uplifting piece that hits in at $2.82 million. Number 8 at $3.97 million marks infamous director M. Night Shyamalan's return to his suspenseful roots with The Visit, starring child stars Olivia DeJonge and Ed Oxenbould. When a single mother goes on vacation and leaves her 2 children to spend a week with their grandparents, the two see this as an opportunity to get to know more about their family. However, the siblings soon discover a dark secret about their grandparents and learn that perhaps less is more. Working our way up the list, the $5.64 million seventh entry takes us on a journey to one of the highest points on Earth. It's Everest. This adventurous thriller, starring an ensemble that includes Josh Brolin, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Keira Knightley, bases itself on the real events of the 1996 Mount Everest disaster, following the survival of 2 expedition groups caught in a brutal blizzard. At $5.85 million, Johnny Depp once again proves his versatility as an actor in Black Mass at number 6. Based on the true story of infamous criminal Whitley Bulger, this gritty crime drama, also starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Dakota Johnson, which follows 2 childhood friends, one that becomes a major figure in the FBI and the other a godfather of the Boston Irish mob. The two made a dirty deal to sabotage the mob, and naturally things get bloody fast. So far we've hit 10 through 6. When we come back, Brandon and Lindsay will be talking about what's new this week in television, and after that we'll finish off this week's top 10 with numbers 5 through 1. Don't miss it.
Thanks again for joining us, and now we will take a look at new seasons of your favorite shows that were just released this past week.
Last Wednesday, the new season of American Horror Story, American Horror Story Hotel, made its debut on FX. The story takes place in Hotel Cortez in Los Angeles, and nothing about this hotel is close to comforting. Fans were excited to see their favorite returning actors, such as Evan Peters, Sarah Paulson, Lily Rape, and Emma Roberts. Along with that, we can welcome some new cast members such as Lady Gaga, Shanae Jackson, and Naomi Campbell. Let's take a quick look at the trailer.
American Horror Story never fails to grab its audience's attention. The premiere has fans on their toes with more gore and horror than the previous seasons. It takes elements from Freak Show, Murder House, and even Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Fans can't wait to see how this season will pan out and what will come of it in later episodes. Tune in to FX every day Wednesday at 10 p.m. for new episodes.
In more exciting news, last week the CW premiered season 11 of Supernatural. Supernatural started in 2005 and is staying strong with its diehard fans 10 years later. The story follows 2 brothers, Sam and Dean Winchester, played by Jared Padalecki and Jason Ackles, who hunt and kill demons along with other supernatural creatures that reside in the human world. The only catch is that Sam has the blood of a demon himself.
The season 11 premiere is said to have tied up some of the loose ends of the cliffhanger from the finale of season 10. However, as to not spoil it all for you, you'll just have to tune in every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on the CW to catch the new episodes of Supernatural. And if you haven't caught up with the season 10 yet, go ahead and catch it on Netflix this week as well.
Last Tuesday, October 6th, the CW premiered season 2 of the hit show The Flash. Based off the DC comic, Barry Allen, played by Grant Gustin, is a forensic scientist who is accidentally struck by lightning from one of his own experiments that went wrong. Let's take a look at the trailer.
As you can see, The Flash never fails to impress. This season is jam-packed with even more action and adventure than the first. Fans are excited to see the return of their favorite superhero this season and can't wait to see what heroic acts The Flash will accomplish next.
So what is your experience with the superhero genre, Lindsay, just in general, movies or?
I always liked them growing up. I think they're really fun to watch, and they make you feel empowered a little bit.
Yeah, they are sort of power fantasies. That's probably a good way to put it. I grew up like many kids my age watching, all the old cartoons in the 90s, the Spider-Man, the Batman, and yeah, the Flash never really had a show back then, and I think that's kind of neat, especially with the huge craze in film right now that he gets to step into. My only experience with the show was from watching it over the shoulder of my sister, and from what I saw, I thought the effects were impressive for the TV budget they probably have to work on, and the actors are charismatic. It's once again telling a superhero origin story, so I'm sure the first couple episodes go through a few kinks. But as far as what's going to be happening next season, I saw a lot of villains from the preview that I've never really been depicted in movies, or in any sort of media outside of the comics. So I look forward to. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, The Flash is one of my favorite superheroes, and I haven't watched it yet, and I really want to. Time's just going by so fast. But I've heard it's great, and I hope when I watch it, he still has that goofy sort of character that him as a superhero portrays in comics and the Justice League. That's what we love about him. He's a goofy guy, but he's so cool. Well, I definitely guarantee you that The Flash is gonna be awesome, and I'm gonna tune in.
When we come back, we will be discussing your favorite new movies that were released this weekend. And up next, we have your host Teo with the rest of this week's box office top 10.
Welcome back to the top 10 weekend box office hits. I'm Taya, and now it's time for the top 5. Number 5, making $7.8 million, is the second installment in the young adult sci-fi saga The Maze Runner, based off the ongoing book series by James Dashner. After escaping the titular maze, Thomas, Minho, Teresa, and the rest of the Gladers now face the great trial yet, as they attempt to survive in a barren landscape known as the Scorch, in Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials. As the tagline grimly states, the maze was just the beginning. Experience Never Gets Old claims the $11.7 million making fourth entry and first comedy of the list. The Intern, Robert De Niro plays Ben Whitaker, a 70-year-old widower that has grown bored of retirement and seeks to get back in the game, and thankfully a fashion website managed by Jules Alston, played by Anne Hathaway, takes him on as a senior intern. Can Whitaker adapt to the modern world of business, and could this experience help Jules improve her own business? Tension rise in the war against drugs on the U.S.-Mexican border in Sicario, the third entry, which took $12.1 million this weekend. This action-packed crime drama stars Emily Blunt, stars as Kate Macer, a FBI agent that must work together with hitman Alejandro, played by Benicio del Toro, to thwart the drug cartel of Manuel Diaz, Bernardo P. Sarancino. Just in time for All Hallows Eve, number 3 houses $33.2 million making sequel to the 2012 animated comedy Hotel Transylvania. Adam Sandler returns as Dracula, whose hotel and resort for monsters is continuing to do well after the events of the last film. However, when he learns his half-vampire, half-human grandson is showing no signs of being a vampire, he must hurry to bring out his inner monster before his soon-to-be visiting father, Vlad, Mel Brooks, thinks he's letting humans into the hotel. And finally, the number 1 box office hit of the weekend comes from legendary director works like Alien, Blade Runner, and more recently, Prometheus, Ridley Scott. His newest work, The Martian, which opened just this weekend to $54.3 million into space, but perhaps especially in light of recent events, to subject matter that is not quite science fiction anymore. The film stars Matt Damon as astronaut Mark Watney, who's presumed dead and left behind by his crew after a nasty storm takes place on their mission on Mars. Alive but not stranded on Mars, with few supplies, Mark is forced to gather his knowledge and wits to find a way to signal Earth that he's alive. Here's a look at the trailer. Thank you for joining me for this weekend's top 10 box office hits. I'm Taya. Be sure to stay tuned for more movie news with Lindsay and Brandon after the break.
This week in the box office, there are films that we would like to highlight that have been recently released, as well as those that are coming within the week.
In movie news this week, classic Disney fans, and those children at heart, will be excited to see Warner Brothers' new movie, Pan. Pan follows the life of a 12-year-old boy named Peter who is whisked away to the magical land of Neverland and discovers that it is his job to become the hero of that world. Here's a peek at Pan.
The movie includes big names such as Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard, Levi Miller as Peter, Garrett Hedlund as Hook, and Rooney Mara as Tiger Lily. Pan acts as a creative take to the prequel to the famous storyline of Peter Pan and Wendy, in Disney's Peter Pan. Don't be afraid to let your inner child out and check out Pan in theaters this week.
On October 2nd, The Martian was released into theaters across the country and had a great opening weekend. The film describes a manned mission to Mars, where astronaut Mark Whitney, Matt Damon, is presumed dead after a fierce storm and left behind by his crew. However, Whitney survived and finds himself stranded and alone on this barren planet. With only meager supplies, he must draw upon his ingenuity, wit, and spirit to find a way to signal Earth to show anyone that he is still alive. The film also stars Kristen Wiig, Kate Mara, and Jessica Chastain.
Matt Damon's character, Mark Watney, has a long road ahead of him until he can make his way back to Earth. The NASA team is going to have to find a way to get Mars as possible to bring this Martian home. Reviews have shown that this film is based off a hit novel of the same title by Andy Weir. Fans of the novel are excited to see how the book and film compare. Only time will tell if the film will live up to its expectation.
More exciting news developing in the world of the box office, a new mystery drama, Crimson Peak, which opens in theaters on October 16th. Director Guillermo del Toro presents a film of an inspiring author that is torn between love for a friend from her childhood and a mysterious outsider. While trying to escape the ghosts of her past, she is swept into a place that breathes, bleeds, and remembers. Here's a look at the trailer for Crimson Peak.
So are you excited to see the movie Crimson Peak? Will you check it out?
Yeah, I think I will. I've been a fan of Guillermo del Toro's work for a while. I haven't seen some of his other American work like Hellboy, but I loved Pan's Labyrinth, which was his first big Spanish film that was made on a meager budget. Like, he once lost the script in a taxi and nearly couldn't even make the film or pitch it, but he worked, and that's the thing that makes Guillermo del Toro so interesting to me, is the man has extreme passion for his work. And that reflects in Pan's Labyrinth and the recent, what's the name, a giant robot film, Pacific Rim, which was a homage to many of the other giant monster movies Japan put out back in the 50s. And that's it. He just has passion for what he does, and I look forward to pretty much anything the guy makes, because he, in every interview he has, he could talk about film for hours. And Crimson Peak is his return to horror after Pan's Labyrinth, and I look forward to seeing if he uses his mixture of special effects he always has. I like the mystery the trailer presents. I like how he doesn't even show the monsters or the ghosts. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, this guy has the ability to really make diverse movies, and like you said, he's very passionate. He works hard with what he does. And at the end of the day, it's not the budget that matters, it's the work that he puts into it, and you can clearly tell. But I'm really excited. Definitely gonna check that out. Well, it looks like that's all the time we have this week, everyone.
It's been a pleasure. Tune in next week for more news about your favorite movies, shows, and Netflix originals. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Lindsay.
See you next week.